Today we are looking at an H. Moser ripoff. Or is it? Well, it looks like an H. Moser, but it is so good that this Selton M1 Moonphase is something you have to pick up. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Chase and this is All Things. We're going to mostly watch reviews with some random stuff sprinkled in between. I am happy to bring you this Selton M1 Moonphase watch. Now, I made a video where I did the initial unboxing, my initial first impressions, and I labeled that video, "This was a nightmare." Well, it was a nightmare simply because Selton wasn't upfront and honest with their communication when it came to shipping of the M1 Moonphase. All these are pre-ordered. I was told I was going to get mine in May when I ordered it last December. It didn't come in May. I had to reach out to them in June. They didn't respond to me in June. I reached out in July. They responded to me in July, said it would be a couple weeks. And then finally, in the middle of August, I got the watch. Now, that's not really a nightmare. This is mostly me just nitpicking the communication style of the business. But the watch was absolutely worth the wait. So, details first, then my opinions at the very end. This is a much more in-depth review from the outside in. Selton on the cardboard box. Inside is a beautiful leather container for the M1 Moonphase. Now, of course, I've already looked at this watch. I've already done an unboxing video, or at least a first impressions. This is just more in-depth. You have your warranty card right here. There is a 2-year international warranty. This comes with an additional leather strap. I got mine on the bracelet. I would always recommend getting something on the original bracelet and then opting for an additional leather strap or an aftermarket leather strap. You'll never go wrong with the stock bracelet, but you can always get a good quality aftermarket leather strap, like shameless plug, Chase Straps, my own personal watch strap company. Now, the watch itself. Inside this beautiful vintage looking leather pouch is, of course, the beautiful, now this is a, listen, as much of a nightmare as this was a nightmare, tongue-in-cheek as it was getting this watch, and really the only nightmare about getting this watch was simply the fact that there was no updates. I had no idea what was going on, and I just wanted my watch like any watch addict. But this thing truly exceeds all expectations, especially for a price point of around $800. So let's go ahead and clear away the desk and get into a closer up review. So far the packaging for the watch looks pretty good. Pretty solid, especially in that vintage leather pouch. So let's go over the dimensions of this watch. This is 39 millimeters in diameter, the lug-to-lug or overall footprint, which is an actual perfect size of 45.4, a case thickness of 11.4, a lug width or strap width of 20 millimeters, and this does have a double hole drilled lug, so there's 2 spots to actually put a strap. So at the end of this video, I will not only put their leather strap on this watch, but I will also put one of my limited edition calf leather Italian straps, which I only have a couple left on this watch as well. The bracelet on this is a multi-finished sort of H-link that tapers down. You can see that there is a high polished center link brushed H-link that tapers down to it's not a double pusher butterfly clasp. This clasp is actually more indicative of something you'd see in a Richard Mille. It is a spring-loaded clasp that you see here. Again, one of the things that you'll find an issue with this is there is no micro adjustments. Now, having it opened up, you can see in the back, this is a modified Miyota 90-15 automatic movement. We'll discuss that more as we go further into the review. Everything on the bracelet is done quite nicely. It does have quick release spring bars on the back of the in links, so it's very easy to change out the bracelet with their strap. The case is 316L stainless steel, multi-leveled finishing. You can see it's brushed along the end. This is almost like a three-piece case. You can see that there is a lower part right here. It does have high polishing on the back end, brushed along the center, high polished around the top bezel, and then it does have chamfered edges along the lugs. Overall, everything looks very specific when it comes to this watch. It doesn't look like anything is left out, and of course it does have that deep black Muso dial that absorbs 99.4% of the light. Now, the idea behind the Muso Black is that the Moonphase will have no interruptions and will be the center of attention, as it should be. The M1 Moonphase aims to be a minimalist expression of the Moonphase complication here just above the 6 o'clock position, and the Moonphase itself is actually powered by a 59-tooth gear, so an additional module on top of that 9015 that advances one notch every 24 hours. You only need to adjust it once every 3 years, and of course that would be more indicative of the time changing on the Gregorian calendar, so of course we're talking about a leap year. Now, the Moonphase itself is actually a tantalum Moonphase disc. Now, it does have a brushed finish. It looks quite beautiful. And there's only one thing that some people have disagreed with me on, and I just think that the actual black of the Moonphase itself should match the Muso black, but it doesn't. I think that would have been just an extra little thing. Now, they could have done it intentionally, but of course the disc right here is tantalum. It's brushed. You can see that it fades off until there's nothing more. It would just be cool if this was Muso Black also. So then basically the entire thing would disappear on a new moon. And then, of course, it would start reappearing. Then you can adjust it back. Everything feels very good. Everything engages quite nicely. The hands themselves, as you can see, are multi-faceted hands, which gives wonderful play in the light. Even up close, everything is done quite wonderful on this watch. Here's the watch on my 7 1/4 inch wrist, and you can see that it actually fits perfectly. That lug to lug of just under 46 millimeters and that case diameter of 39 millimeters is a perfect size for an average wrist size like my 7 1/4 inch wrist. This thing is, I think, the perfect affordable dress watch. Now, when I close out the video and I tell you the pros and cons, one of the pros about this watch is just the fact that it is so wearable. And not just that, but let's go ahead and take it off of this bracelet and toss it on their leather strap. Of course, it is nice that they have the quick release spring bars. The lugs, you can see there are 2 drilled holes right here, which means that you can have different type of straps on this watch. We've all known the Rolex watches where you try to put an aftermarket strap and you just can't because it's too close to the case. This allows you to either place your strap closer to the case or further away. This, I think, is a wonderful detail that not a whole lot of people actually do. Now, here's the watch elevated on the black leather strap. Now, this would be the dressier. Now, of course, you can also dress up in a suit and a tie the stainless steel bracelet. But if you truly want to dress up, it is on a leather strap, and their leather strap does look great. This is a wonderfully done, stitched leather strap that feels very comfortable, very durable, and everything just, again, feels intentional. But if you wanted to go something slightly different, and here's the watch dressed down slightly on an Italian calf leather strap by Chase Straps, limited edition. Again, everybody's always afraid to change their watch straps, but I don't understand why. Because it completely changes the look of the watch, and watch straps are not very expensive. These right now are going for about 40 bucks. Normally they're $60. Always go with the stock bracelet if it's an option, and then change the look of the strap. Let's go ahead and close this thing out. There is no loom on this watch. Okay, so I don't care what anybody says. Clearly, this is an H. Moser homage, and I'm okay with that. There's not much branding on the watch. There's actually almost no branding on the watch, which is similar to H. Moser. The Musso Black Moonphase with the double domed sapphire crystal to me just looks absolutely amazing. That Musso Black taking in 99.4% of light. So it is a true deep black. Now, you already heard me say, one of the things that I would nitpick about the watch is I wish that on the tantalum Moonphase, the dark portion or the black portion, the new moon portion of the actual Moonphase would be Musso Black. That is the only critique I have. And that's just because if it's a new moon, if it's blacked out completely, I don't want to see anything. I want the blackness to consume the entire watch as the Musso Black does, and then the tantalum moon kind of start peeking out from the darkness. It's not. The black on it is slightly different. This is just, again, a nitpick kind of thing that I have to bring up because this is my true feeling of the watch. I think 39 millimeters for this watch is a perfect size for almost every wrist. 11 millimeters is a little thick, but I understand why it's a little thick because you have the Miyota 9015 automatic movement on it with, of course, the Moonphase module on top of that. So it's going to be slightly thicker. It's still under 12 millimeters, which means it's going to slip under the cuff with no problem at all. One of the things that I had to put on the back of this watch, and I don't know if you can see it here, it is a watch back by Chase Straps. It's a small EVA foam disc that I had to cover up the open case back that I showed you prior. And that's simply because when it comes to any style of bracelet that doesn't offer any type of micro adjustment, I had to put it on because it was just a little too loose. But the watch back makes it so like it doesn't really move that much at all. It's 2 millimeters of EVA foam with a sticky back that you can just place on the case back. They're like $5 for two on chasestraps.com. They're called watch backs, and they just give you the slightest micro adjustment on the watch to make it just a little more comfortable. That being said, I think the watch is a home run. Now, I bought this watch similar to the Grand Seiko 9F Quartz movement. I wanted a nice high-end watch for my watch collection, for my permanent watch collection. I have a permanent watch collection that I will never get rid of. I wanted a really, really, really good dress watch that was a Moonphase to go into my watch collection. I did a lot of research. I watched a lot of videos, and I found Selton with their meteorite dials, their aventurine dials, and their Musso Black. And the Musso Black just stuck out so much with that tantalum moon that I just had to get it. So I pulled the trigger with my own money. In no way is this a sponsored review. I spent $900 of my own money, and over 6 months of waiting for this watch. Was the wait worth it? Yes. The wait was absolutely worth it. This is an amazing watch. The packaging could be better, but I would rather them spend the money on making a damn good watch than to put it in a nice display box. So the pure fact that it was in a leather watch pouch than in a classic cardboard box, I'm 100% okay with because the watch is so good. I will leave a link down below if you guys are interested to their main website where you can pre-order the watch yourself. You can also look at their meteorite dial, their aventurine dial. I'm pretty sure they have a mother of pearl dial when it comes to these Moonphases. I'm really liking what they're doing, and I hope they stick around for a long time. If you're still here, do me a favor. hit the subscribe button. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. It really does help the channel. I have so much stuff coming out in the future. In fact, I have a hands-on review of a Carbinox outdoor gear bag with a bunch of different accessories. So I'll be heading out to the mountains next week to review that video. Also, you guys have heard me for 6 months talk about how I have to rent out a pool because I have some dive tanks and some underwater scooters to review. They're actually sitting right there on the chair. I will be doing a review on those as well. I'm going down to Texas in October. While in Texas, I'll have to load a lot of videos preemptively because I'll be gone for 2 weeks on vacation. My wife and I are going to go antique shopping, and maybe I can pick up some antique watches. I'll try to do a video on the road at the end of that. Anyway, do me a favor, hit the notification bell. I got a lot of videos. I'll see you guys in the next one.